All right, welcome back to this week's strategy session here in the real estate lead systems. I will be going through the progression of what we've been working on building out a seller lead generation campaign using a on-demand webinar strategy on Meta for Facebook and Instagram advertising. The first week of this series, we built out a funnel in GoHighLevel that would be able to capture leads. The next thing we rolled into was building out the ad creative within Meta Ads Manager. And this week, we are going to be going a little bit deeper into Ads Manager to build out the retargeting audiences within that campaign, and then talk through some ideas for lead follow-up when it comes to generating that lead. What happens next? What are some different avenues we can take? So I'm excited to kind of run through that here. Andrew, hey, how are you, man? Oh, you're on mute.
I knew you were recording there. I just put it on mute. Not good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Were you able to tune in last week? I know you weren't able to jump on, but were you
I was
able to?
had to come
Okay.
home. I was still in Florida, but yeah, here we are.
I love it. Well, hey, man, we're going to be running through this here. If you'll go back in, you'll be able to see the session from last week that you missed. It's just a continuation from where we were starting in the campaign build out. We've now, just as you might have heard, finished up the ad creative and building out some of this in Meta. And we're going to finish building out in Meta. We kind of had a stop at the end of that session last week. So we'll pick up where we left off, finish everything out in Meta, and then talk through a little bit about like an automated system for follow-up. So that way when leads are generated, you can have text, emails, phone calls, tasks get created, etc.
Cool.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing and we will get after it. Perfect. So in GoHighLevel, we already have built out our funnel all the way through. All this has been completed. We have put in a calendar widget on our page here. So somebody can book directly on the calendar. And we have that final thank you page. We also went into Meta and we went into Events Manager. We created custom conversions for when we get somebody to sign up through the webinar, to sign up for the webinar, as well as an appointment booked. And you can see that data is working because as of 1 minute ago, which is when I just jumped on that page, we got a webinar sign up. So that conversion's correct. All right. So we're going to go into campaigns now. We have one in draft. This is what we were working on last week. I'm going to go into edit. So if you remember from last week, what we ended up doing was building out this campaign from scratch, going through the targeting. We made a broad targeting for locally only, and we set up for website and instant form. So we're giving Facebook the opportunity to have our landing page that has a form, but also the opportunity to use a native Facebook lead form to capture the lead. And we're basically saying, hey, Meta, go find us which one's going to get us the best result. So now we can kind of test two lead capture processes. We did a daily ad budget. It's past our date, so I'm going to go ahead and move it forward here. No current end date in sight because we're going to run this ongoing. We didn't do any audience suggestions in this audience because we're going to really leverage the AI in this audience here to try to see how it performs by letting it kind of have freedom of control. And underneath this ad set, we built various ads. So we have an ad here that's just an image. We have an ad here that's just a non-branded image. Let me see. Here we go. We have a third one here, non-branded, and then we did a branded ad as well. So all of this, if you need the assets, can be found in this entire series in the classroom. If you go under the strategy session recordings, Really, you got as of the last 3 weeks, week 1, week 2, and now we are recording week 3. You have access to the slideshow here, the ad creative and ad copy. So that way you can go through and actually start building all this out yourself. So now what we're going to do is pretty simple. We made like a whole shell of one audience and all the images, but we don't want to have to like go recreate all these ads over and over and again. And I apologize if anybody hears airplanes. I'm actually in Lakeland, Florida, and this week is Sun and Fun, which is a crazy air show. So we actually have like the Blue Angels. I see them right here flying right now over me. So it's kind of crazy. But if you hear airplanes in the background, that is why. Um, so I'm gonna go in to the ad set level. So if you know this is the campaign, and you'll see how it kind of staggers this way. It goes campaign that houses all of the assets of the campaign. And what those assets are ad sets. Ad sets are your audiences. And then underneath each audience, you have different ad creative. So you can organize this pretty uniquely. What we're going to do here is we have one ad set, broad targeting locally, and we are gonna go ahead and have 4 ads underneath. But what I'm gonna do to make everything super simple is I'm just gonna duplicate this with the original campaign, hit duplicate. And now you'll see down below, underneath this campaign is 2 ad sets and 8 ads. Well, I want to change the targeting of this one. So I'm gonna make this a um, uh, broad targeting. I'm gonna say audience suggestions. So instead of this time letting it be um, the AI being having full control, we're going to give it a few different things we want it to look into. So right here, I'll come down to Advantage Plus Audience, and you'll see it says we automatically show ads to people most likely to respond. We'll show ads to people matching your suggestions or other audiences when it's likely to improve performance. So if we give it a few things, it says, hey, if we think this will improve performance, we'll definitely try these out. You'll see here we can't adjust age because of housing category. We can't adjust gender because of housing category, but we can add some suggestions. So with this being homeowners that we're trying to get in front of and trying to uncover which of these homeowners are interested in potentially selling their home, we need to make sure what we're getting in front of here would be of value to indicate, okay, this is more than likely a homeowner. So you could start by typing in homeowner, see if anything pops up. You have homeowners association, not necessarily anything there. Home improvement is typically a good one. So if we click this, if home improvement is something they show interest in, more than likely they own a home. So we can now hit browse and it will give us other suggestions based upon what we've already selected. Home repair or home improvement, more than likely owns a home. Home construction, not necessarily. Renovation, people are renovating, they more than likely own a home. Let's see here. Furniture, home furnishing, you could select. Real estate as an industry, we don't want to select that. First time home buyer, not necessarily in this scenario. So you kind of roll down here. Home equity line of credit. If somebody's looking at home equity lines of credit, they own a home. So you could select that. Cash out refinancing, they would own a home. Credit, I'm going through some of these here. All right. So this gives us some ideas of ones that would indicate, hey, Facebook, we think these are homeowners. So if you can get better results with these suggestions, definitely use it. We're not going to change anything else in our audience. We did geographical targeting around our target location. Winter Garden is right here. If you wanted to change that, you could always add more in. But in this scenario, we're just going to do that. I'm going to duplicate again. This time I'm going to remove these suggestions. So if I hit the gray X up top, it'll remove them all. And we're going to make a retargeting audience. So we've already created retargeting audiences. So if I come over to my custom audiences and hit the arrow here, it'll pull up all my retargeting audiences. If you want like to, you can segment all of these. So you can see like how's my CRM database performing? How's my video retargeting? How's my Instagram and Facebook page? If you bundle them all together in this audience, you won't really be able to see like which of these how they performed. So if you want to segment them, you would do it individually. So in this scenario, we'll just do it for you to be able to see how it could be done. So this will be a CRM audience. We'll scroll up. We'll say CRM audience. We'll duplicate this again. We'll come down. We'll need to remove the CRM audience and then add what else we would like. We'll do a website retargeting. Scroll down here. We'll duplicate this. Now, if you notice, this is website retargeting of people who are in Winter Garden 15-mile radius too. So if like somehow somebody stumbled on your website from California, but your market's in Winter Garden, it should theoretically not show that ad to them because they're not within that 15-mile radius, even though they visited your website. If you want, you can remove that, but with this being a seller campaign, it wouldn't really make sense, right? Because we wanna get back in front of homeowners here in Winter Garden. So, we only wanna retarget the website traffic that's coming within that 15-mile radius. You can also come down, we're gonna select the page audience, the profile in Instagram, and video. The reason I'm doing all these at once is because I'm just gonna make this one a social media retargeting, meaning they engaged on our social media in some sort of capacity. If you want, you can break these out micro even further, but in this scenario here, I think it's just best to do social media retargeting. So now, under our campaign, you can see we have one campaign, one, two, three, four, five ad sets, and four ads each underneath each ad set. So we
So,
actually have about 20 variations here.
Austin, you don't need to get more specific in naming the ad sets because they're just all contained within that campaign, right? Like you don't need to go social media retargeting, whatever the campaign was called. They're just all going to be separate within your Facebook ad account, anyways, right?
Exactly. So we'll show you kind of what that looks like. What I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to publish this. Now that we have everything created for our campaign outside of like the lead follow up side of things, I'm going to publish this, but I'm going to pause it. So that way we can see everything.
Ah,
So you can see here it's publishing. Now it says publishing 3 of 6. We actually need it to be way more than that because we have way more going on here. So let me hit X here. It's just want us to spend more. That one was scheduled, but we need to make sure we get all of them scheduled. So the reason that happened is because I need to be up here and publish all of these. Let's see if that works. There we go. Publishing 1 of 20 now. So now it's publishing everything.
including the ad sets, not just the like all the sub folders.
Exactly. It's
Every,
publishing all of it.
got it. Okay.
So now I'll show you what this looks like. So it's just saying, hey, you should spend $33 a day instead of 5. Of course,
Course.
they want more money. Do with what you can, work with. So I'm going to go in and pause this whole campaign. I'm on the campaign window and I pause the campaign. If I pause the campaign, everything's paused. It's even though it's just showing active, it's not going to run because the whole campaign shut off. But now, if I'm under here, under this selected campaign, and I go to the ad sets, you can see it says one selected. Let's see, it's saying some things need to be fixed. Let me see what's needed to be fixed here. It might have just been a random error message because I don't see anything indicating it needs to be fixed. Yeah, I think we're all good. So now I have this selected. under the campaign level, and I can go to ad sets. Now I can see all of my ad sets that we just created, and underneath each ad set are ads. So if I wanted to just see the ads that are in social media retargeting, I would select it and then come over to ads. Now I could see the 4 ads running underneath that one. If I were to select 2 and go to ad sets, I'll see both here. So now I'll see 8 all right here underneath. So this is how your campaign would be structured. Now, if it was turned on right now, it will go through a processing. You'll see here scheduled processing. Facebook now has this information and they're going to go review the ads to approve the ads. Once approved, if this campaign was turned on, they'll begin to run. So we've now built our entire campaign out with the landing page, with the ad copy, with the ad creative, and built it in Meta. The next step is knowing, all right, when we generate these leads, what do we want to happen? And so there's a few different things you can do. You have a lot of different options. If you have Follow Up Boss for your CRM, you can set up an integration with Facebook lead forms so these leads flow into your Follow Up Boss account. And you could use your action plans builder inside of Follow Up Boss to build action plans to follow up with these leads. There's another option. If you have Zapier, you can set up a Zap for the Facebook or for the GoHighLevel funnel. So you would connect GoHighLevel with Follow Up Boss, and you can flow them into Follow Up Boss, and again set them up on action plans that way. If you don't have Follow Up Boss or don't want to use it, and you kind of want to use GoHighLevel in totality for your follow up, you can do so in GoHighLevel by going over to your automations, and we've actually already made um, some nurture campaigns that you would be able to use for both SMS and emails. Now, you will need to doctor this shell up to be the language that you want it to be for the follow up, but we've already made it. These are for ebook leads. So this could be doctored to like the webinar. So um, these can be shared with you in the Skool group so everybody can have access to these. But I'm going to go ahead and open the text message one. And you'll see here, we're going to basically set up like a tag that would occur when somebody fills out that initial form. The form being right. Let me go do it. The modern home selling funnel. Somebody fills out this form, we can add a tag, and then that tag can trigger the automation. Or you could say when somebody fills out this form, period, trigger the automation. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to kind of take this automation. We're going to build it around this campaign. So I'll come into email nurture here. I'm actually going to duplicate this entire folder. Oh, of course, can't duplicate the folder, but I'll go in and duplicate this. So we're going to duplicate this workflow. We're going to call this webinar lead 52-week nurture for text messages. So this is a whole year follow-up we're going to be able to create. We're going to also duplicate the email one. Webinar lead 52-week nurture email. Now we're going to kind of break these ones and have fun with these ones. So instead of a tag, I'm going to change this to form submitted, add a filter. Form is select the form, the modern home selling blueprint. I can rename this just so it helps from organization standpoint. Now you can see here, one of the triggers is when somebody submits that form. We can do another trigger. So we have options. Facebook lead form submitted. Page is In this scenario, I'm going to put any in any. So if any Facebook lead form is submitted, it would fire away here. That's okay in this scenario for me because I only have one Facebook lead form set up and it's just for the webinar. Now, in your scenarios, when you're setting this up and if you're in GoHighLevel and you connect it, your page to it, you'll select your page and you'll select which form it is. So now we have two options for triggers to occur if they submit the Facebook lead form or if they go to the landing page and submit the form on the landing page. It would wait 10 minutes. I actually want that to only wait 1 minute. So I'm going to change that to wait 1 minute, hit save, and then it's going to send an SMS. That SMS could say, "Hey, contact name. Hope you're enjoying your day. It's Austin with Dippity." So you could put in here in the brackets, if you select custom value and do company, you can select the contact's company name, which you don't want. You want your company name. So when you set up your GoHighLevel account, you'll set up a business name and it'll pull that right in. So now it says, "Hey, it's Austin with Dippity. Thanks for downloading our ebook." We need this to say, "Thanks for checking out our modern home selling blueprint webinar." This says, "How's your lead generation going?" Like basically, we're going to need to create a nurture plan here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. I'm going to get into Chat GPT and we're going to actually make this live on the call together. All right. Let me go in and hit share now. Come over to chat and we're going to basically set this up where we say we are needing to set up a follow up I'm going to say direct response too. Direct response follow up campaign with SMS and email for 52 weeks once we generated a lead that signed up for this webinar. And the reason I'm being broad about this webinar is because I'm in a thread here where we've been building out everything. So you'll see that it has all of the history already for that webinar for this modern home selling blueprint webinar. Please start with the cadence you recommend over the 52 weeks. So we're going to make one automation here that's going to be emails and text. So you can see here it says this is where you're going to turn into a listing appointment machine. The goal of this is a 52-week follow-up, not just nurturing. It's conversion over time. Agreed. Catch them when they're ready. Stay top of mind without being annoying. You're working with three types of leads here. Hot, they're 0 to 30 days in terms of thinking about selling. Warm, considering or timing is uncertain. Or cold, they're just future sellers. So our cadence should match this. So days 1, it's saying 0 through 7, high intent window, book appointment ASAP. So our cadence is going to be day 0, send an email and a text immediately after they opt in. Then we're going to wait a day and do an SMS, wait a day, do an email, wait a day, do another text, wait 2 days, do an email, and then we're going to wait 2 more days to do another text. So you'll have 4 SMS and 4 emails. Phase 2, days 8 through 30, still hot. So now we're doing 2 texts a week, 2 emails a week. So we're at 16 touch points total. We're then going to wait phase 3, which is another like 60 days. We're going to do 1 per week. So another 16 touch points. And then days 90 through 180, another 18 to 20 touch points. So you can see here, total summary, we're going to have over 40 to 50 texts over 52 weeks and over 80 to 100 emails. This is aggressive enough to convert, but spaced out enough to avoid burnout. So the message type, we don't want to every message to feel ready to sell. Instead, we want education tips, market stats, insights, a little bit of opportunity here, proof. I like this. This is good. SMS should feel personal. I like this outline. And you'll notice I start with the outline versus going immediately to the final result from the AI, just so we can kind of build a strategy together, and then go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and say, start writing the exact messages word for word, day zero through this.
So, Austin, will other AI platforms do this as well if I'm not using ChatGPT? I use Gemini, I use Claude. I don't actually use ChatGPT a lot, or do you recommend ChatGPT?
No, no, you can do both. ChatGPT is known to do pretty good for writing some content. Claude does a fantastic job as well if you want to use Claude.
Okay, excellent.
All right, so now, essentially, when we're done with this, you may not even have to go into it, right? Because we have this here. Um,
Okay, wait,
Here's text one.
sorry, Austin. The merge fields, it's the double brackety thing there. Yeah, I use follow up boss, so it might use. I think it uses percent signs. Do you set it that way when you're prompting it?
So this is using it for Go High Level.
Yeah,
If you were to copy this into Follow Up Boss, you would just make sure that you look at your merge fields. You know it's going to be contact first name, hit the percentage, and then swap out so it's
right.
accurate to that
Okay,
platform.
okay. So that's not done in the AI platform. That's done manually
You
there.
you you could do it if you could say make
Okay,
this based on Follow Up Boss merge codes and see if it's accurate.
okay,
Um, but you would still want to cross reference and double check just so it's not sending a random merge code out when you send it out.
got it. Okay.
So I see here we're going to do day zero immediately. I'm going to bring this over because we're going to be building a lot. And I'm going to take away Jorge here and I'm going to do that merge code just so this is built for, and I did contact. We're going to do user, first name. And I'm actually going to do a full name. I think it's good to do a full name here. So I'm going to go merge code, user, full name. Hey, it's Jorge Perez. I saw you signed up for the Modern Homes Valley Blueprint webinar. Quick question. Are you thinking about selling soon or just starting to explore options? I think this is so simple, but it gets right to the point because if they already downloaded that, watched it, built trust with Jorge, could they this potentially create some lower hanging fruit? Um, and then you can say reply stop if you're not interested in chatting with us, with me, because it's Jorge. You have to have that on the initial text, the first one, just so they have an opt out opportunity. So we'll go ahead and hit save here. We waited 1 minute. We sent a text. We're going to also send this email. So we're going to hit a plus right above this shell. Search for email, send email. Call us email number one. From name is going to be the username. So it's going to be from the user. From email, the user email. We'll do our subject here in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and paste this in. And I like to, at the bottom of this, put in this signature, user signature. So that way, when you create your signature within GoHighLevel, it'll just push it right in there. That looks good. I like it. Now we just need our subject line, which we have right over here. Quick question about your home. Perfect. You can track links. So discover when links are clicked. This is a GoHighLevel feature. How many times they were clicked. You could turn that on. You can add tags. So if somebody does click a link, you could say contact clicked a link or a basic interaction. So if somebody replied to the campaign, you could actually create a tag that says replied to email marketing. So now it creates a tag. So you could create a whole list of people in your GoHighLevel of people who replied to the email marketing. All right. So that action saved. So we wait a minute, one text, one email. We got to keep building. Day one. So one more day later. So I just got to change this. Wait instead of wait 7 days. We're going to wait 1 day. Time delay. It's a time delay from the last step. 1 day. We're going to send a text out. SMS 2. Hey, contact first name. Did you get a chance to check out the training yet? There's a section in there about pricing that most homeowners get wrong. It's usually the difference between sitting on the market versus getting strong offers. Love it. All we're trying to do here is create a response because once we get a response, we can then follow up with that lead and continue to qualify. Day two. So we're going to wait 1 day. Now we're going to send an email. So this SMS 3 needs to get updated. We'll just delete it actually. We don't need it here.
Austin, that whole workflow, can you clone that, duplicate it?
Absolutely. Yep. Once we finish building this, we'll be sharing it with the community.
Got it. Okay. Because you could build a basic thing and then just edit it for all of them, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Got it.
And that's what I'm trying to build this here so it streamlines for anybody that has GoHighLevel. So that way the merge tags, everything like that are already existing for you.
Hmm.
So we're going to do a username, the user email. So that if it were you, Andrew, it would say Andrew Gibson, Andrew's email. Most homeowners miss this. And see how it has Jorge here. We'll make sure that we adjust this to be a merge code. So that way it's streamlined for everybody.
They're pretty good templates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do a fantastic job. So, signature, perfect. One thing I see all the time, homeowners assume pricing higher gives them room to negotiate. In reality, it usually does opposite. It limits an early interest, which is when your home gets the most attention, and that's where a lot of sellers lose momentum and money. I break this down inside the training, but if you've already watched it and want to know more about uh, the right pricing strategy would look like for your home specifically, I'm happy to walk you through it. No obligation, just clarity. I think that's great. And I'll say want to set up a time. Track links. I like the idea of doing this. I like the idea of setting up the ad conditions when somebody replies because I think that that can help you from okay, it's under replied to email marketing.
Sorry,
That
Austin,
helps you.
what's UTM?
So UTMs, when enabled, you'll see here, it automatically adds the default UTM parameters to every link in the campaign to check the change. So it wouldn't hurt to add this. Basically, what it's going to do is it can track the UTM. So if you pull up in reports, you can see where some of your traffic came from.
What's UTM stand for?
You would try me on that.
No, no,
You
never
know,
mind.
we're gonna, no,
I
no, I'm
Googled
messing
it
with
when
you.
I should.
UTM definition. We're gonna pull it up.
Sorry, buddy.
I was like, I know it's an acronym. I don't know what for. Irkin tracking module, which then you're probably like, what does Irkin mean? So Irkin definition UTM. Standardized tracking code appended at the end of a URL to measure the effectiveness of digital marketing campaigns.
I got it. You see those all the time. Got it. I didn't know what it's called. There you go.
There we go. Lesson done for the day.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, email 2. That's done now. We're gonna go back over here. We're gonna wait 1 day. And you can kind of see building this out if you were doing it from scratch would be somewhat tedious, but
Yeah.
we're going to go through the pain together right now just so everybody gets an idea of how it's done. But this should theoretically be done for you as a template once we complete. It's going to be a text. Call this SMS 3. This one doesn't have a greeting. It's just jumping in with a random text. I actually like when it has a greeting still. I still feel like it's pretty formal. Most homes that sit on the market aren't bad homes, they're just in a bad position to start. Even if you're thinking about selling, I could show you how to avoid that. Would you be open to having a call regarding the listing process to sell your home? I like to lead with the questions. This one just feels like it's dropping in something, but not asking for a response in any kind of way. So I wanted to adjust that a little bit. All right, now we're going to wait 2 days. And we're going to send an email. Oh, let me delete this as a text. And what I'm gonna do after I do this email, just I feel like going through these is, you'll kinda get the gist of how it's set up.
Yep.
So the next thing I'm gonna do is talk through AI sales assistants. Oop, going a little too far. You probably noticed this, some homes sell quickly with quick offer or with strong offers, others sit reduce price and struggle to get attention. The difference usually isn't the home, it's the strategy behind it. Things like how it's priced, how it's presented, how many buyers actually see it. That's what determines the outcome. If you want, I can take a look at your home and show you exactly what or how I position it in today's market. No pressure, just a smarter approach. Want to set up some time next week? I'll say this week or next. Track links, UTM, add condition, basic interaction. They replied to email marketing. So we can make tags on there and hit save action. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I'm going to name this one email 3, is it's auto saving this for me. So instead of spending the time, the remaining 20 minutes to continue building this out, we will build it out for everyone and we will provide it in the link as an asset for you to be able to, if you have Go High Level, just port it right into your Go High Level account. So it should be pretty easy to just streamline it and pull in that automation. So, something I want to talk about is AI sales assistants. And we actually offer an AI sales assistant through Structurally. This is a company that we are an official reseller of. No sweat, no pressure at all. It's just something that's out there as an option in the event that you're like, you know what, I like these action plans and like the automated follow up, but what happens when somebody does respond? And right now, when we build out automations or action plans and follow up boss, when you get a response, typically it'll shut the action plan off and it's your job to take over from there. Sometimes that's where the ball gets dropped with agents is that when they get a response, they may have not seen it. They don't even recognize that it occurred. And so therefore, you invested this money in advertising, in generating the lead, the landing page, the time, the effort. You got them there, they finally respond, and then you might accidentally go crickets. And I get it because, a lot of times you're out in the field, you're on a showing, you're talking to a transaction coordinator. You're doing all these different things that you can get pulled in so many directions that you're not always there to be able to respond to a response that you get via a text from a lead. And so, what's different with an AI sales assistant is that it's conversational. So you can build these AI agents out within Structurally, where we would basically create an AI agent. We would train it on the modern home selling blueprint that we just designed, and we would give it qualifiers, like a script of what we want it to try to ask the leads and qualify and nurture the leads. So, an example would be, um, what qualifying questions would we want an ISA or AI sales assistant to collect once we generate this lead from the on-demand webinar?
You need a "we" in there, that's not maybe gonna work very well. Up top, would we want an ISA or AI sales assistant to collect once we yeah,
Appreciate you.
no problem. Do it all the time.
There we go. It knows I'm dumb too, so it accounts for that and adjusts. Alright, so this is where you separate tire kickers from real listing opportunities. Core goal, timeline, motivation, property, expectations, bad decisions. Decision readiness. So you can see here what questions it's wanting to ask. What's the address of the property? What time are you thinking about selling? Out of curiosity, would you ideally want to sell? How many questions, follow up, scoring system. So it gives you all this here. So I'm going to say write a script for the AI sales assistant to or for the lead conversion follow up and qualification. Now, you wouldn't necessarily use this step by step, but when you have something like Structurally, you'll see here, feel human, natural. Hey, this is Jorge's assistant. Saw you signed up for the blueprint. Quick question: are you thinking about selling soon? If no response, follow up later. If response, move to stage two. So this is where we can actually like copy this, put it in a PDF on like a Google Doc, export it, and you can upload this into Structurally when you create an AI agent, and it will actually train and educate the agent based on how you want it to be used. I can't go into a Structurally account at this moment just because it is privacy with our clients. But if you're interested in a demo on it, I could do a demo for you on Structurally. It is a credit based. So basically, it's like 100 credits is 259 a month. A credit equals one lead getting followed up with for 90 days. So, it's not a year like you can get out of GoHighLevel. It's about a 90-day cadence that you get from this AI sales assistant. Um, it's not a requirement by any means, but it does perform really well. Just for sake of conversation, it's getting about a 45% response rate. About 19% of agents are going in the interested category, so showing interest based upon their responses. About 9 to 10% are going in agent follow up, needing to get like, hey, this person's saying they're showing strong interest. You should be following up with this lead for sure. So, kind of helps you shortlist your leads. And then about 2% are getting appointments generated directly from the AI itself. So
Wow.
there is call AI, so it can call and not just text. It can text and email. It can set appointments if you give it a calendar link, like the ones we built from GoHighLevel, or if you have Calendly, it can use that. And then it can also integrate with your Google Calendar if you use Google Calendar, and it can do live transfers. So it's pretty sweet. From an integration standpoint, it can directly integrate inside of Follow Up Boss, HubSpot, Boomtown, Salesforce, and then I'm actually not sure what these other ones are. I think might be for other industries. Um, so it can most people, a lot of people use Follow Up Boss, and it can integrate directly in it. You can see the conversation and the status of the conversation baked right inside the lead profile in Follow Up Boss. So it's pretty awesome to be able to have that at your disposal. Um, if you don't want to use that, I recommend Follow Up Boss Builder itself to do action plans and build it kind of similar to what you see here, or use this GoHighLevel action plan and port it into a GoHighLevel account. That will conduct the training part of today. I will continue to build this out so that way you have a shell specific to this campaign and you can then use it and port it into your GoHighLevel account. If you don't have GoHighLevel, you can still use this shell and recreate it in Follow Up Boss. Andrew,
Yes, sir.
any questions on the day?
I don't think so. Like the one I asked before, how much time do you guys do this? That's like it's a lot. I'm wondering if it's anyway. I'll get on a call with you, Austin. Check out some
Yeah,
other
no,
stuff.
just to speak to, I mean, if we wanted to build this funnel out, the one that we're doing, this entire campaign, it would be $6.99 a month for the
Hmm.
service plus 100 credits of AI.
Right.
Is what it is, and then it's plus ad spend. So we would help you optimize the webinar and get it set up for your branding. We would build out the funnels. We would do all the ad copy, everything like that. It'd be $6.99 a month, plus ad spend.
And you guys want your clients in high level, or
We
doesn't matter?
it just we if you signed up, you get a GoHighLevel sub account with us, so you would automatically get that tech stack.
I get it. Okay. Okay. Cool. No, I don't think so, Austin. Yeah. What if you don't use your 100 credits for
Yeah, if
structure?
you don't use the 100 credits, you technically lose the credits. So, like for instance, it integrates with Follow Up Boss. So you might have other lead sources or old leads that you could apply those
Okay.
remaining credits to.
Right. Okay. Nah, that's all I got, man.
Perfect, man. Well, hey, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I'm going to go ahead and continue to build out this action plan. You guys kind of see the cadence. You don't want to sit here and watch me go through all the build out. So
Got
you got an idea of like 3 to 5 of the text and how it would get built if you wanted to create one of your own. I'm going to go ahead and finish this one out for the community. Put that in there for a shareable link so you can port it right into your own GoHighLevel account if you already have one. If you don't, go into the classroom, go under the GoHighLevel funnel library, and you can actually sign up through GoHighLevel with us and then port it right in there as well.
got it.
Awesome. Well, hey, hopefully you enjoyed this one. That wraps up the training, the 3-week training. If you didn't get to watch it, definitely go back and watch week 1, 2, and 3 so you can see this entire campaign for an on demand webinar get built out from funnel build out, ad creative, all the way through to lead conversion.
Awesome. Thanks, Austin. See you in a week.
My pleasure. See you in a
Okay.
week.
Take care.
Bye.